hit the fucking deck, but stay on your motherfucking toes.
And we are back.
Hello.
Welcome to I'm on a Podcast. My name is Kamil Dimek.
I'm Andrew Clemes.
Here we are, episode 8, season 44. Jason Momoa, Mumford and Sons.
Yep.
Surprisingly, we're back.
Yeah, exactly. We talked this episode down before. We thought like, oh, this isn't going to be good, blah, blah, blah. But basically everything we predicted to happen didn't really happen.
Nope.
It was pretty good episode. They didn't do really like an Aquaman sketch.
No.
Like overall, we should probably apologize a little bit.
We should apologize to Jason Momoa because I'm so surprised like how much energy and care and he put into this performance.
He seems to be like a genuine SNL fan.
I am so muscular to be hosting Saturday Night. Huge! It is such an honor to be on this stage. If you don't know, I am an SNL super nerd dork. I've been watching this my whole entire life. Yes. And there was a time where I actually wanted to quit acting. I wanted to move to New York and try to get cast on SNL. Unfortunately, I got sidetracked by a massively successful career, and I'm playing Aquaman. But now,
Did you see the promo video where it was like a selfie cam of him and he was walking around talking about how big a fan he was of SNL and that?
Oh, I didn't see that one. What was that one like?
It was like, it was kind of him. It was shot like he was holding a camera to his face, kind of just walking around SNL, going like, "That's Lorne Michaels' office. Oh my god, that's crazy!" and this and that and whatever. And he was just like running up on stage, on like screaming like "Whoa!" And it was just he just seemed to be a huge fan.
That's what he said in the monologue,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, it's actually kind of refreshing to see a big fan, someone who really wanted to be on the show. He even said that, like, at some point he had a plan to get on the cast, which would be kind of hilarious, considering, like, the kind of they make a big point of it. He's a man, you know?
Yeah, he would have
guy.
been a weird cast member.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have ever made it on the cast.
But you know what? Like, seeing this episode, I could totally see it. Like, the kind of, like...
But he's not funny like that. I don't know.
No, it's just, but, like, the manic energy he put into everything.
Yeah.
Let's go bit by bit. Let's start from the cold open.
Don't be scared. It's just me, Robert Mueller, your dad's friend from work.
I'm not allowed to talk to you.
That's fine, Eric. It was pretty clear early on that you don't know anything.
Nope.
I wish I could say the same for some of your dad's friends.
Like Mr. Pillowfort?
Manafort. Yeah.
And Mr. Papa John's Pizza?
Papadopoulos.
And Mr. Cohen?
You might want to start calling him Federal Inmate 10358.
No.
Cold open actually got me like completely. I felt like, oh my god, like this is gonna be the worst like episode.
Yeah, and I have something like, of all the time, Robert De Niro, if they bring him back, listen, Robert De Niro, great actor. We all love Robert De Niro. He's awful. Like, awful as playing Robert Mueller. He's so bad at delivering a joke. He stumbles over his lines all the time. He's so clearly reading the cue cards. Like, everything about it is bad.
Tell me, because that's what I got completely lost in that sketch at some point. And tell me, like, did he actually like skip a line or something so that at some point it just became like nonsense? Because Alex Moffat, he seemed like completely confused at some point.
I think because he just kept tripping over his lines, like stumbling on his words and
repeating
stuff. Like, yeah, repeating stuff. Like, you never hear people do that. You never hear people like say a line like go like, I'm Robert Mueller, and it's just like that's what you do when you're. I don't know. He's awful.
I don't even know.
Awful.
I don't even understand the nature of this impression or like his performance as Mueller, because like he did like the meet the parents thing with him. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like
they can't bring him back after that.
Like,
they can't. I mean.
Like, they should stop, you know? Like,
they should
why?
stop. They should find someone else to be... Because Robert Mueller's obviously going to be like a big political character over the next year, so they will need someone to play him. But
That's the worst person.
Honestly, like they need to find someone else. It's torture watching him do it because he's just not good at it.
Yeah, terrible. But,
Yeah.
But then we went into the monologue, right?
Yeah. So then we get Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa, he's promoting Aquaman. That's coming out soon. I think he got started in a big way on Stargate Atlantis, which, I mean, I'm a big fan of the original Stargate. I didn't really watch the show.
Right.
But I read that he was on that. Then obviously Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Then I think he directed a film as well. He's a kind of like a, I mean, you look at the guy and he's like, like a big, like handsome dude, or whatever, and you wouldn't think that he'd be so creative in a way, but he did a lot of stuff.
Well, you haven't watched his movies, so you don't know.
I mean, I haven't seen him in that many things. I mean, Justice League was terrible, right? But that's not his fault. He put energy into that.
Have you seen the Aquaman?
Not yet. I heard like mixed things. I mean, they say it's better than the usual DC stuff, but
Yeah, but I'm probably not going to see it. But
you're not a big
I'm not like
superhero guy.
well, I was ages ago, but I'm out on them now. But either way, he seemed like a super likable guy. He
seems very
super
genuine.
keen to do it, which is fun.
That's what he said in the monologue. I would just say like it was a pretty good monologue just because of his energy.
Yeah,
They could have just skipped on the last bit with like the Aquaman theme song.
but the main thing was the sketches.
The sketches, I don't even have bad ones. I just have really good and okay ones.
Yeah,
So maybe let's just go from the top. I think the first one was Elf on the Shelf.
And what about young Marshall, Scrabby?
I want a new kid, Santa.
But why? You've been watching Marshall for 13 years.
Things have changed this year. Oh, he figured out he could do a certain thing with his body. Now he won't stop doing it.
I hope it's not fighting with his little brother. That would be very naughty indeed.
No, this is definitely a solo activity.
that was the best one, I thought.
I loved it.
That was the best one.
Loved it.
So here's a question for that before we get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was his voice? I mean, I know they changed the people's voices to make them higher so they sound like elves, but he sounded like Joe Pesci. He sounded like Italian American.
You know,
he was like, hey, like, you know what I mean? But like a high version of that. It was so strange.
There were two amazing things in that performance. In that, yes, he did like almost like a accent, like a what is it, like Brooklyn? Like he was like a
like a mafioso kind of.
Exactly, which was great.
But then they made the voices higher.
Yeah, and they do that. They pitch the voices, but like for like who was it? Mikey Day and I think was it Melissa Villaseñor?
Yeah, Melissa Villaseñor.
For them, it sounded like the squeaky like Santa.
Yeah,
but like for him, because his voice is so naturally like deep, it sounded like a normal guy almost, and like it even like
because I was really watching his lips to see if they had dubbed it with someone else's voice. Because like that's so weird. I was like, does he just sound like Joe Pesci when they make his voice higher?
I just think because his voice is so deep and they pitched it down, it still sounded like a normal dude.
Yeah.
It still sounded like a normal voice.
He was so good in that. That one was so funny.
That was great.
He delivered them. He delivered the lines so well.
Yeah, like
he was like so like nonchalant. I don't know.
Just
that was great. That was the best sketch.
And the structure of the sketch. That's what I think. Like, okay, we should give him some credit this week because they actually. It seemed like the sketches were longer. They had some structure, and they had some build-ups. They had some reveals, like with this one, right? At first, he's just like, I want a different kid, Santa.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's that about? And then, like, it comes out that it's about the kid, like, growing up, he starting to masturbate and all that. And it's a great premise. Then, like,
and he delivers all the, like, he's the funny one in the sketch. He delivers all the punchlines, all the hard work for the sketch is on him. Everyone else is just setting him up for jokes, which is great.
And you can actually tell when the host decided to learn those lines instead of just like looking at the cue cards all the time and just like staring one point on that, because he did everything with his body, with like, turning away from Santa, just kind of like moving around, being a little bit fidgety. He like kind of sold the performance of like a elf who went through trauma of seeing a kid like kind of go to town on himself. So like I think that was my favorite one.
Yeah, that was the best one. That was the best one.
But then that was followed up with a really good commercial that GE Big Boys.
And that means housework is a man's job. So give him the tools to get the job done right with GE's new Big Boy home appliances.
Again, that seems like an idea that they should have done before before, or like it seems like an idea that I was like, oh, they must have done this idea before. Like this is an old one, but I guess not because it was great. It was so funny. It's just a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. That's why it felt like you knew it before because in a way it had like a feeling of those old 90s commercials that they've been doing and all that. It's just a great premise of just like like more women like are like working and all that and men stay at home and then like just the gear that they build. Just
the ride along vacuum cleaner and it was great.
The ideas for this were great. And it's a very well written thing for like, okay, we got this host, he's like a manly man. What can we do with that? Right? And they just went with it.
Yeah, it felt like a classic bit that they've done before.
They really catered to him. Like, there's a lot of sketches like that where they actually cater to who they got, but not often like in a very cheap way.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you're gonna like this one as much as I did, but I did. Day of Dorks.
We're Sigma Theta. We can't lose to a bunch of dorks.
I hate dorks.
We all do, Beef. That's why we need to get rid of them once and for all.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about that. I think just for me it was just because I felt like the cast members were really well cast like in their parts. When like Cal Mooney comes out as like that kind of like the nerd, and he's just like doing that like, "Hello, gentlemen."
Yeah, but the whole joke, like I kept waiting for the joke to get bigger or deeper, but it was just him grunting, going nerds, and I kept waiting for it to like. That was okay. It was kind of funny, like once or twice, but it didn't change throughout the whole sketch. Like it was just him. I don't know. It was the joke just didn't change.
Like,
so so it didn't get any better. For me,
I don't know. Maybe it was just his performance that because like he put so much into it. Like
he did. He gave 100%.
Yeah.
But I just wish that it had gone somewhere else besides.
Yeah, it would have been so much better, like if that actually happened. And then, like, first impression.
Mom, Dad, this is Michael. That's weird. He was here just a second ago.
Well, we can't wait to meet him.
Michael, honey.
I bet you can't find me.
What? Was that him?
What did he say?
Come find me. I'm hiding.
Michael, stop it.
I don't.
Great. I love that one.
So good.
I thought it was good. When it started, I was like, oh, this is good. But it went somewhere weird, but in a good weird way.
In a good way, like Beck Bennett. I don't know if that was his voice, but like just the voice of like.
Yeah, and when the sketch ends a bit oddly, but like how like the premise of Jason Momoa like kind of being into it, I was kind of like, what's going on? Like he's hide and seek, and he's like, all right, I'm down for this. And he starts like it was really really good. I thought it was great.
That's what we've been talking about lately. Like these, I don't know, if you get like a digital short, they're not that deep. The ideas are not that great, And this is like actually like getting like a very classic premise, like meeting the parents. It's Christmas Day or something. The boyfriend wants to impress, and then like this weird thing where he just like hides around it, like and like creates this game with the father, and like Momoa like really feeling it, and he was looking kind of funny with the belly and all that. Like, and I actually loved the ending. I don't know what the hell it was, but like when he looks at him and he's just like kind of posing, he's like, yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, no, that is funny. Like where he's posing and he's like checking out his body. That's funny, but it kind of like weirdly doesn't end. It kind of just like they keep looking at him, and it's kind of like and then just kind of keeps going, like the very end. But the whole thing, it was great.
Do you want to mention the other ones? I mean, that's it for me for like the really good ones.
Yeah, those were the really good ones. The only other one that I would kind of put in that. Well, the only other two I'd put in that category are Them Trumps.
The producers of It's Them Trumps. The first show to ask the question, what if Donald Trump was black? Darius Trump. His wife, Malika. Darius Jr. And Lavanka. Together they are Them Trumps.
Oh, yeah.
Was funny.
So
just because it was a short little premise, Kenan Thompson's great in it, giving like... Kenan Thompson makes that entire sketch just by the way he delivers the lines of like, oh, I was expecting that. Like it's his delivery alone that makes it, because you kind of know where the joke is going, that like, if Trump was black, he'd have been arrested already and all this kind of stuff. So you know where the joke is going, but it's his delivery that makes it really good.
I got a question about that one because I kind of put it like outside of all these sketches because I really liked it. But I had this like real like strong feeling like it would be great if it was like an ongoing sketch. Forget about like doing Baldwin all the time, like a little bit. But like, what if you like actually twisted it and like, you had that kind of like weird Californians sketch when you can build it up a little bit, put a couple more jokes, and then every single time it ends with them getting busted.
That's a good point, because like we've always talked about how it's really difficult to parody Trump because he's already like a parody of himself. So maybe the way to do it is to make him like just go the opposite way with it. Like make him black, make him Kenan Thompson, like make him something that he's not completely, and then that's the way you make it funny, right? Like,
and we've said before that if you want like political commentary, like something funny, you go to Colbert, you go to I don't know, Last Week Tonight, stuff like that. You know? So what can SNL do different, right? And like this is a completely like weird take, but like it's original, and I kind of felt like, I really like this. I would much prefer it like as a sketch.
It feels like something that Chappelle would do on Chappelle's Show if it was still around.
That's very true.
Like if Chappelle's Show was on now, he would be playing Trump and doing like ooh, excuse me. Yeah. He would be playing like an extreme version of Trump, like kind of Kenan did on the show.
Yeah. So I like, that's a good idea. It's good, but like, why not make it a sketch? That'd be great.
That would be great. And the only other one that I thought was that I wouldn't put in the category of those other ones was Rudolph's Big Night.
Oh yeah,
with Pete Davidson.
Let's hear it for Rudolph.
Hip hip hooray! Gee, thanks, Santa. I won't let you down.
Well.
Congrats, Rudolph.
Oh, you can put that away, Donna. Whatever your bitch-ass name is.
Rudolph.
Oh, it's Rudolph now. I thought it was Neon Nose. Classic.
I thought that one was good.
It was really good.
It wasn't up there with like First Impression or Elf on the Shelf, but I thought it was good.
It gave like another opportunity to Pete Davidson to do something different, more like actually character related. Again, like putting Momoa as Santa, and he like pulls out the gun on one of the. I knew this day would come,
It's good. It's good.
It's a little bit, and like he adds like so much to his performance, and like a lot of his sketches, in that one I noticed. I don't know if this was scripted or not, but like he stands next to Pete Davidson and like he's talking to Rudolph, and then like he gives him the job. And then he like slaps him twice on the ass. And I'm like, was that scripted or like did he just like did that? Because like there's these little additions that he put into the performance, right? I mean, we have a couple other sketches.
Yeah, the ones that I thought were maybe a bit flat. Were so the one I thought that was the flattest was Gemma Sleigh Ride.
Yeah.
It was just like I didn't.
I mean, that's not the first time that Cecily Strong is doing that character, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, living in Britain, like we kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of funny. She does a decent accent for it, but it's just kind of like...
Yeah, it didn't do anything,
I didn't
really.
get, like, it wasn't... no.
Again, like Momoa is like trying to like keep the excitement going and all that.
It didn't have like enough of a payoff. Like there wasn't the... Again, it was a force of personality thing where Cecily Strong just needed to be super weird to carry it through, and there wasn't like the joke writing behind it, and it just kind of didn't work.
I sort of like
An Extra Christmas Carol.
An Extra Christmas Carol. I mean, it's a nothing sketch, right? It just basically has him dancing and all that. But like,
it's based on the word extra. Like they just said like, oh, an Extra Christmas Carol, and then the guy who comes is super extra, and that's the whole purpose of the joke. And then Jason Momoa is just meant to like take it from there and just be crazy. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, like that's why I say like I could see him as a cast member, because like he almost did more in some of these sketches that were more like poorly written. Than he needed to, basically, right? And they utilized the fact that like women love him and all that, like
again. But
I mean, and there's Khal Drogo's Dojo, which is
I mean, I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan, so the characters kind of went over my head. It seemed like it kind of went over the audience. Not like obviously people watch Game of Thrones, so people probably knew who the characters were that were coming in. But the setups were. It seemed I got what they were trying to. It seemed like the premise of this sketch ended up biting them in the ass. Like, the premise of the sketch is like, there's all these weird, obscure characters in Game of Thrones. What if we had like a talk show with them? But the problem is, because they're so weird and obscure, you have to take so long to set up who they are, and then their characters, I don't know, it just didn't come back around. It seemed like they spent so long setting up the characters, and the bit joke was really short for each character, and then they had to go back and set up another, I don't know.
Well, it's a
Just seemed like
problem
it
to
didn't
do
work.
like a sketch that revolves around, I mean, something that's in pop culture, but maybe not everybody watches it, and it also has like 6 or 7 seasons, and we're gonna bring some characters from.
Yeah.
So I don't like. I was the guy hold the door or something, right? I mean, I get it. Like, it sounds like hold the door, but
Yeah.
I don't know the character, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they're making fun of. I don't know who's Pete Davidson's guy was. I mean, I knew King Joffrey, and all that, but
Yeah.
like the kid, the asshole.
But
kid.
even that seemed like the audience reaction seemed to be like it went a bit over their heads as well. Or people were like, "Oh yeah, it's for Game of Thrones fans," but I'm not a game. Maybe it's just not a Game of Thrones heavy audience or something.
Yeah.
But
Or maybe it's been a long time since the break, and it's been a long time since
Yeah.
Momoa has been on the show. So I'm kind of surprised that they went with that, but like they wouldn't make fun of like Aquaman, like and I don't know, do
Yeah.
something about him talking to fish,
and they gave him a role where he didn't really say anything, so it was all him grunting and stuff like that, which kind of like the Day of the Dork sketch, where it's better when he has more to say, because he's better when you give him lines and stuff. Like, his best sketch was Elf on a Shelf, where he had like all the lines, right? So,
and physical comedy, right?
Yeah.
The same with the First Impression when when he's just like banging through the walls and
Yeah.
just kind of like creeping around, like when he actually had a lot to do. I'm calling it right now. The guy is going to be in a big comedy within a year or something.
I hope so, because if someone looks at that and was wondering whether they could put him in like a what would he be good in? Something where you do both, like kind of like a Seth Rogen movie. Like, he'd be good in like
or like a cop movie where he's just like the action.
Yeah, what was that?
cop
What was
guy.
that movie, like Neighbors, Bad Neighbor, or
Yeah.
whatever? Like, he'd be good in something like that.
Yeah.
Something where he plays like the dad next door, has to do a bit of like physical comedy as well as, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
I'd
like
be
that
down
the
with
people
that.
like paid attention to this performance.
Yeah.
More stronger than I expected. Actually, I just kind of
For
knew
sure.
him from Aquaman and like grunting on Game of Thrones, because I did watch like 2 seasons and I think he was on that. So
Yeah.
yeah, like he surprised me. Let's go down to weekend update. I mean, good.
Yeah, I really liked 80 Bryant's.
Oh wow, I hated that.
So, Carrie, what kind of destinations can you recommend for vacationers?
Oh, well, one of the absolute best global destinations has got to be Columbus, Ohio. Oh, yeah, you got cousins, you got aunts, and did you know that uncles can have ponytails too? Yeah, but the best thing about Columbus is Michael.
What?
My cousin's neighbors are boys.
I don't know. I just thought of, maybe I liked it because of a few of the weekend update bits that have come before have not been great. I thought it was kind of funny. Like,
what was that character based on? I didn't get it, because like
she was meant to be a 7th grade girl talking about like what's the best holidays to go on, but she just keeps explaining her holidays, and all the things that are good about them are super personal to her. I don't know. I didn't.
That's what I felt like. Kind of like it was too deep. That it went over my head, and then she really was. To me, she was trying really hard to like oh, I'm gonna make this my staple character or something like that.
The only thing I didn't like about it, or not like about it, is that I feel when they do these weekend update bits, that Colin Jost is the better straight man than Michael Che.
Very true.
Like, again, that's part of like their Michael Che's like charm, is that he always seems like he kind of doesn't care. Like, he doesn't really want to be there. Like, and I get that's what makes him funny. He's always like kind of like, if a joke bombs or if there's a story, he's always like kind of like, well, whatever. He has like a nonchalantness to him, whereas Colin Jost is more like involved. And sometimes that's funny, but he doesn't give a lot to the person who's like doing the bit beside him. He'll just ask the questions like, so how was your holiday?
Yeah.
And then they say a bit. He doesn't like act back a lot. He just kind of goes, oh, yeah.
Because that's how I felt, because she kept repeating the line that she really wanted to make, like, oh, that's the character. And I'm like, Michael, and like it's not really working with him,
Yeah.
like he didn't have a reply. Sometimes she kind of like, it seemed as if she forgot that she's supposed to do that line, you know, and then like it was supposed to be like a big part of her character. So to me, it didn't really work.
I don't know if they think about it in terms of, okay, this Weekend Update bit would be best to do with Jost or Che, or whether they just kind of switch it up. But I definitely think on par, Colin Jost is the better straight man for those things. I think he just gives more. Like, he laughs harder. He gives back, you know.
Yeah. He has that awkwardness.
Like Stefan, right? Like, half the reason it was a great character and Bill Hader was super funny, but also like Seth Meyers was a really great like straight man to that character. Like, he gave a lot back and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
do you have an opinion on Mumford and Sons? Because I skipped that because I don't really like Mumford and Sons.
What do you have against Mumford and Sons?
I don't know, man. It's the same song over and over again.
That's
like,
true, but it's a
my
nice
love,
song. So is
I sing like this.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, there's a bit of banjo but it's like AC/DC. AC/DC is the same song all over again, but people love it.
I'll admit I saw them live once and I kind of liked it, but like over the years it just kind of died on me. I don't know.
Yeah, they were good.
They were good.
It was fine. It was Mumford and Sons. It was exactly what you expect, right? Like
the same.
It was
folky.
Yeah, the set was all, you know, indie with candles and, you know, vintage guitars in the corner and stuff like that. And
how would you rate it among like the other performances?
It's in the middle. It's definitely like, it's not bad. It's not like a Travis Scott, Kanye West. It's, I would say, better than what's her name? Who was the girl who danced?
Mickey Grace.
Yeah, better than her, but
not as good as I'm forgetting who was there.
Not as good as Anderson .Paak. Not as good as
and then the new girl. I'm blanking on her name, but she performed. You know, with the fence.
Yeah, she was like middle of the pack. I'd say they were middle of the pack.
So yeah, all in all,
I thought it was really, really good episode.
Yeah, surprisingly good. I would say even on its low points, it was really elevated by Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I actually think we should like start a new thing because we've been mentioning that like, oh, this sketch could use more energy, right?
Yeah.
So let's just from now on like have this thing. Let's call it More Momoa.
More Momoa? Needs more Momoa?
Needs more Momoa.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we can do that. When a sketch just needs more...
Just crazy energy, even if it's not that well written, you know, like remember like when we talked about the Steve Carell Space Thanksgiving thing with the Space Corner or whatever was, you know, when it needs just like that character who's just going to sell the thing. Like Momoa
needs more Momoa.
Needs more Momoa.
Oh, man.
For sure. Well, hopefully, we'll see in the Matt Damon one if there's anything that needs more Momoa.
How do you feel about Matt Damon? I feel
good. I was going back watching some of his like vintage SNL vintage sketches.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be good. I hope though that they don't do too much political stuff with him.
That's what I was thinking.
Like I could really see them doing like a lot of political sketches with him, and I hope not.
And he's also like a politically like
active
actor in a way. So I hope he's not going to push for it either. I just want him to like kind of looking back on his vintage sketches, like there's some good bits there, you know. So
like I want a good Boston sketch.
Yes,
something where he has to do a Boston accent would be good.
Cameos.
Yeah, from Ben Affleck or something maybe.
Kristen Wiig maybe. They were together in Downsizing, not a great film.
Yeah. What's he there promoting?
I don't think he's promoting anything. I think
he's just
like
there.
Well, you know, it's a Christmas season, right? So.
Well, he doesn't have a movie or something he's promoting.
No, I don't think so.
Well, we'll see.
No.
I have high hopes. Boston. Well, we were wrong last time about an Aquaman sketch, but I do want like a good Boston sketch.
Fun fact: back in the day, Matt Damon was up for the Aquaman part. He never that never materialized. But like let's say like
in these most recent Aquaman movies.
So when it was like, I don't know, 2005, say, I don't know, like early 2000s, you know, they were already like thinking about making an Aquaman film. And on a lot of lists for people, like for someone to play the character, Matt Damon was on top.
In 2001. So right
like
when
really
he was doing
early.
like Bourne movies.
You know, like when was that? Like remember on, have you seen Entourage?
Yeah.
They did like an Aquaman bit, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like a little bit before that, there were actual talks about like doing the Justice League, like the early incarnations of that, and Matt Damon was actually on top of the list to be.
I'm glad he didn't get caught up in the whole like
No.
DC Marvel universe thing. I think it's better.
Eventually he found his franchise in Bourne films, right?
Yeah, which is
Are
better.
they gonna do a little Jason Bourne
I hope so.
nod?
I hope so. I hope they do like a Jason Bourne movie
That'd be
or a
great.
Jason Bourne sketch.
Just Jason Bourne sketch, yeah.
Jason Bourne sketch, a Boston sketch.
Definitely like some more Christmassy stuff.
Yeah, but can they like 2 weeks in a row of Christmas stuff?
I was actually surprised because I think it already started a little bit with Claire Foy, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
So, yeah, they should probably tone it down.
Well, we'll see.
But like, yeah, there's definitely going to be a song or something. They're definitely going to open or like close with just like someone singing something.
Yeah.
Hallelujah, kind of a thing. But
yeah, we'll see.
It usually makes for a good show.
High hopes for the Matt Damon one.
Season. And then we go for a break.
Yep.
So yeah, but we'll be there. You'll see. We're gonna make like an extra episode that we can release over Christmas, and yeah. So subscribe,
review, share with a friend.
If we suck, let us know.
Yeah,
we will want to get better. We might make some changes after the break.
Yeah.
So if you want some specific changes, let us know. We listen to you.
All right. Till next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.